I moved to a new land and started my own little civilization. The very first town that I started, I would name Kappa. Why? Because if it grew really big, it would be called Kappa City. Think about that. Anybody get that?
Yeah, I know.
Kappa City. You could wear a shirt that says capacity, whatever it is. What is capacity mean? It's nothing more than, because liquids, children, it's hard to get like a cubic inch of water, because it's hard to pull a water thing and keep it in the cube form. So they came up with capacity, which is nothing more than liquid volume. Okay, you can't go to the gas station and say, give me 2 cubic feet of gas, because again, it's really hard to put gas into a square and keep it there. So we go with capacity, and we have, as always, we've talked about this numerous times, we have our US customary system, which is nothing more than saying, it's the way we've always done it, so let's stick with the world's most foolish system of measurement. But that's the way it is. And you know the measurements in the US customary system, they are as follows. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. You don't see a Mr. Liter. How come we don't have to make a Mr. Liter like we have to make a Mr. Gallon? Because all the measurements in a gallon are all just goofy. How do you remember that? 1 gallon. 1 quart is how many pints?
2.
Or pints. 1 pint is
4 cups.
2 cups. Good try. What? 1 cup is how many ounces? 8. Thank you very much. And I don't know if they go any farther than that, do they? You can knock ounces down to what? Tablespoons?
Yes.
And I think tablespoons can be knocked down to teaspoons and whatnot. There's like 3 and 3 or something like that. Just to get a little perspective here, how big is an 8-ounce cup? Pretty much the gist of that is if you asked for a glass of water or a cup of water and your parents actually gave you a cup, you would scoff at them and say, really? What did I do to deserve such little water? Do I have one up here? Don't worry, I do. This is your standard 8-ounce cup. It's a little like, it's your milk carton is what it is. And who finds the milk carton like an excessive amount of liquid? Anybody? Anybody not be able to finish the whole milk carton all at once? Why is that? Because we go to the Shell gas station and we get what? Mrs. Stone drinks that thing. How big is that? How many ounces is that bad boy? Or how many of these cups would you put in it? How many ounces is the big freeze that you get for whatever, 79 cents? No, bigger than 30. No, I believe it's Brooke. I think it's either 44 or 48. I can't remember which one it is. That would be basically 6 normal size cups, which, you know, we're in a world of excesses. So the question is, how do you know, how can you convert from one measurement to another? For example, if I said 3 gallons equals how many quarts? 3 gallons equals how many quarts? Well, you could look at Mr. Gallon and say, well, 1 gallon is 4 quarts, so 3 gallons would have to be 3 times that many, which is
12 quarts.
12 quarts. Or you could kind of keep in mind that if you're going from gallons, if you're going from the measurements on the left side to the right side, you multiply. If you're going from the measurements on the left to the right, you divide by the number in the box. So if you are going from, 18 cups equals how many pints, since you're going from cups backwards to pints, you divide by 2, so it would be 9 pints. Any place we ever, anybody ever see pints on any sort of thing? We don't use pints a whole lot. Your milk carton is, everybody wants a measurement on your milk carton next time you get, nobody has, actually, everybody here drink milk. That's why. We're moving on. In the metric system, children, it's much simpler. It was come up by somebody who obviously had some sort of thought process. The basic unit of measurement in metric system is the liter. And really the only thing you need to know is that a liter is, Stoopford,
1,000 million liters?
did you say 1,000 million liters?
No, 1,000 million.
Yeah, 1,000 milliliters. And that's about it. That's all you need to know. Everything else goes from there. When you go buy your gas in any other country but the United States that is a thinking country, you buy it in liters. So gas is really cheap there. I mean, it's only like, what, $2.50 a liter? No, it's probably more than that. I mean, have to be less than that. That's probably like $2 a liter. Because that would be about how much a gallon? $2 a liter. How does a liter and a quart match up? Does anybody know? Or a liter and a quart are pretty close to the same. 1 liter equals, it's kind of close to a quart. You should probably look it up. Which one's bigger? Anybody know? Here it is, right here. This will tell us. I'm going to take a guess that 1 gallon is 3.86. 1 gallon is 3.79. 1 gallon is 3.79 quarts. 1 gallon equals about 3.8 quarts. So what's bigger, a liter or a quarter? A liter or a quart? You can't tell, can you? If you can fit 4 quarts in here, but you can't fit 4 liters in this gallon, what's bigger? Ryan?
Liters.
A liter. A liter is just a little bigger than a quart. So a 2-liter bottle would be more or less than a half of a gallon.
Equal.
More? Yes. Equal. It's not equal. It'd have to be more. If 1 liter is more than 1 quart, 2 liters have to be more than 2 quarts, which is. I'm thinking there's something about lunch that makes people not be able to think. And the beauty, once again, of the metric system is to go from milliliters to liters or vice versa. You're just either multiplying by 1,000 or dividing by 1,000. Which is no more than doing what? Just moving decimals. If you have 78 milliliters, and I asked you how many liters that was, it doesn't sound easy, but it really is. When you divide by 1,000, all you do is move the decimal 3 places backwards. It starts here, 1, 2, 3. It's 0.078 liters. By the way, how big is a milliliter? Here's a beautiful thing. I'm going to show you a milliliter right here. If you could put water and hold it up in cube size, a milliliter is the exact same thing as, drum roll please, a cubic centimeter. A milliliter is 1 cubic centimeter. If this was an open container, that's how much water you could put inside here. 1 milliliter is the same thing as 1 cubic centimeter. So right there it is. Milliliters. You go in the hospital, they give you an IV. They say give her 10 cc's of this. What's that stand for? Cubic centimeters. And a cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter, a milliliter, and a cubic centimeter. You guys are a relatively hard crowd today. For that reason, I'm out. Your assignment